Hey everybody, I'm Mikey Andersen, and this is Fantasy Avenue, where each week we talk about everything you need to know in the world of fantasy football. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Avenue. Reese and Carson, that high number of hellos was for you. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Avenue. This is episode, I believe, 3 on the season. You know, we're looking great, feeling great, ready for football to make its return. Yeah, had a little bit of a hiatus from making podcasts. I was in Alaska for a couple weeks, had a family vacation, visiting family, all that good stuff, as a high schooler does. But now I'm back in the driver's seat, ready. You know what? Let's ride. I want to talk real quick about my Broncos. Just kidding. You guys don't want to hear about the Broncos. Dude, the Broncos might be one of the most over-talked about teams on this podcast. Coming from a Bronco fan, I think I make as many jokes about the Broncos as I do about the Cowboys. I have as much hype about the Broncos as I do about the Chiefs. And I know as many individual statistics about the Broncos as I do details of my own life. So, you know what? We're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about something else completely different. It is something that happened last season, the tragedy of Russell Wilson. Ignore all that. Another thing that happened last season was my rankings. Season 1 of Fantasy Avenue occurred, and in that, I started it off by creating some player rankings at each position, talking about who I think was going to be the best, making my lists of players, and I had individual lists, right? Or individual episodes, wide receiver episodes, defensive episodes, all that, go down the list. And today is going to be kind of the season recap, I'm going to call this episode. We should be good. I'm not sure, I'm going to see how long it's going. I'm just going to get right into it. Going to see how long it is. Might cut it off, make it a 2-parter episode. Might not. So let's just hop in right now. I'm kind of hungry. So I want to get this done. I want to move on to my rest of my life. And I don't want to get left at my dad's work while him and his friends go get food, because that is not cool. So I'm just going to get right to it right now. We're going to talk about every player. I have all the stats pulled up. I'm ready. I'm prepared. We're going to start with the top 10 list. Now, these are players, if you don't know last season, if you were just slacking off and not listening to my podcast, I have a top 10 list episode. I make a top 10 because in a 10-person league, everybody drafts round 1, right? If you have a top 10, you will know that you will guaranteed get one of those 10 players in round 1. You might get 2, if not all of them are picked, but you will get one of your core 10 players, no matter which pick you are from number 1 to number 10. Very good. Very good. And, if you fall in number 10, you could get another one. You could get 10 and 11 picks, right? And somebody else didn't pick somebody on your top 10, and you could walk away with 2 on your top 10. That's how the cookie crumbles. So anyway, I'm going to get into that top 10. Now, some of these players are going to be on the rest of the list. Now, I'm not sure if there's going to be a 1 or 2-part episode, as I said. If it's going to be a 2-part, I'm going to talk about top 10 quarterbacks, running backs of my last year, who I thought, how it actually occurred. If it's a 1-parter, you'll see all of them. But there are players like Jonathan Taylor, who's the very first one in my top 10 of last year, who's going to be on the running backs. Now, they choked harder than Alabama in that one game against Auburn. Jonathan Taylor is the new Alabama, right, for Colts fans. Now, I just dropped a huge analogy that you guys probably won't understand. Let me explain it right now. Jonathan Taylor had a massive year 2 years ago. He was the number 1 in every category. He took the triple crown of running backs in terms of yards, in terms of touchdowns, in terms of fantasy PPR leagues, which is points per reception, in terms of non-PPR. PPR benefits people like Christian McCaffrey, and Jonathan Taylor still beat guys like Austin Eckler and Christian McCaffrey 2 years ago. So everybody had him number 1 coming into this season. He's on all the magazines. He looked like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition model with how much he was appearing on magazines. Now, you guys probably won't be as impressed, especially if you're not a football fan, probably not quite as impressed with Jonathan Taylor as you are with some of those models. Whether you're a girl or a guy, you can respect Jonathan Taylor, okay? Whether you're a football fan or not, or whether you just like fashion, you can respect Jonathan Taylor. Now, if you were old or young, he was the pick. And now I'm going on and on because of how obvious it was to pick him. It didn't matter that it was a 1-year thing. It didn't matter this, didn't matter that. Oh, yes, it did matter, okay? I mean, his playing was terrible. I'm going to stick with this Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition thing because I saw it in the store a couple days ago in the grocery store, and I thought this would be this. I think this is funny. Jonathan Taylor last year was basically like you picked up the magazine, you scrolled 10 pages, whatever, flipped 10 pages, and you saw a middle-aged man in a bikini. That sums up his fantasy season last year. Now, some of you kids, looking at you, Reese, might be into middle-aged men in bikinis, but not me. I did not like him. He had a terrible year. He was hurt. He did okay until he was hurt. It's a classic thing with injuries, with running backs. It happens. There's no excuse. I think he'll do good this year. He's definitely not going to be my number one, but I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying he had a middle-aged man type of year, and no one likes middle-aged men except for Reese. On to number 2. Now, Christian McCaffrey was my number 2, and bam, was I straight on. Here we go. My number 2 was number 2, Christian McCaffrey. Number 3, Austin Eckler. Number 2 said Christian McCaffrey, if he stays healthy, will be the best back in the league. I think he bout did it. In PPR leagues, he finishes number 2. Now, the next guy who's number 1 was Austin Eckler. It says right here in my notes, so you can quote on me. I'm not making this up. I'm not lying to you. He was the number 2 for me. He was my number 1 for me as I wrote on this list. If I was given the number 1 pick, which I was not at all last year, I would go with Austin Eckler. Okay, because I thought he would do great. I thought his catches and his production would go sky high, and it did. He ends up with number 1, and Christian McCaffrey walks away with number 2, and that's sick. Now, it might not be a snazzy pick, right? I'm going to stay with the Sports Illustrated magazine. Austin Eckler is not that guy. Austin Eckler is not the Arnold Schwarzenegger of bodybuilders that everyone, man, woman, adult, child looks at and goes, wow, look at that guy. He is a unit. No, Austin Eckler's not that guy. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure he's like 5'8", or he's shorter than me, 5'8", 5'9". But I got him by like half inch at least. Obviously, he's 190 pounds of muscle, but he's not this unit that you look at. He's not some Derrick Henry type of guy, and yet he's still the number 1 back in the league. He is my number 1 this year. I proved it last year. I know that there are big fantasy things that wrote him off. I'm not going to name them because I don't know them for sure, but I know there were big fantasy things that wrote him off, and me and my 70 followers on Instagram all knew that Austin Eckler was going to be that guy. Trust me, pal, he is that guy, okay? I said what I had to say. Number 4 in the top 10 was Cooper Kupp. Now, it had to be. He had a chance to be number 1 overall on the top 10. He took the Triple Crown. It was him and Jonathan Taylor. They were like a dominant duo, They were, I can't think of they were a Kobe Shaq type of duo, even though they didn't play for the same team and they didn't play that same sport, right? And I thought he would be that again this year. Unfortunately, he dealt with some injuries, but this is the crazy part. I'm pretty sure he played like 10 games. He still finished as like the number 20 receiver in the league. 10 games played. Like, he's in front of DJ Moore. He's in front of Chris Olave. Chris Olave, who had a great rookie season ever, is like, wow, this guy's so good. Cooper Kupp plays half the season and was better. Again, he's top. I think he's going to be my number 2. I haven't made my list yet for the upcoming season. I think he's probably going to be my number 2 receiver behind Justin Jefferson. But, that was a great call by me. I'm proud of myself. Great call by Mikey. Thank you. It's like finding a lemonade on sale. Let me tell you what. Finding that 99-cent lemonade at Whole Foods, where usually stuff is like $8.99, and you go to the back corner and you find a sale that you don't have to be a Whole Foods member to get, grab that 99-cent lemonade. Dude, Cooper Kupp is your 99-cent lemonade. I love that. Next one, Justin Jefferson. I just said his name. He's here again. My note said, steady incline coupled with new pass-heavy coaching staff are good news for big year 3. Now, I cannot tell you right now if they were pass-heavy or not. I read that in an article. I wrote it down. I sounded cool when I said it. I'm not sure if they really were pass-heavy. I think they were. And I think it proved it with the fact that he got 368.7 PPR points, 1,800 yards catching, 8 touchdowns, 128 catches. I can go on and on. He dominated. He didn't win the Triple Crown, but he had the most catches and the most yards in the league. Now, he's not a Cooper Kupp type of guy who gets 15 touchdowns. But that's honestly good for fantasy football because touchdowns go up and down. You can't count on touchdowns because you can have guys like Julio Jones who catches a bunch of passes but not touchdowns. Somebody who is a beast without catching a ton of touchdowns, you can really count on going into next year. That's why he's my number 1 again. Usually the guy who finishes number 1 will be the number 1 next season until proven otherwise, right? But this is the kind of guy who has no flaw, no loss of quarterback, no loss of... they lost their star running back, Dalvin Cook. If anything, they're probably going to throw the ball more. So he's big. Number 5 in my top 10, Davante Adams. I am just hitting. Ignoring Jonathan Taylor, who nobody saw coming. You can't predict injuries, whatever. I have hit on everyone out of my top 5. Big season for Davante Adams. Number 3 receiver. Huge points. Went to the Raiders. Played with a new quarterback. Quarterback was benched. Played with multiple quarterbacks. Bad offense. You can go on and on about the stuff that he went through. And I hate the Raiders. I hate him with a passion. I hate him like a fat kid on a diet. That's how much I'm hating the Raiders right now. But Davante Adams is balling. I'm not gonna take it away from him. Davante Adams is not the fat kid with the diet. I am the fat kid. The Raiders are the diet. Davante Adams is the candy I get every once in a while when he scores big on my fantasy team. That's my analogy. That's another analogy for the week. I don't know what's going on with me with these analogies, but I like them. Davante Adams, dude. Yeah, 11 minutes in, and I'm 5 players into this 30-player episode. Okay, we're gonna have a 2-parter. I'm deciding right now. 2-parter episode. You're going to catch the wide receiver, tight end, defense, kicker, and rookie, which are, they're all little defense, kicker, and rookie lists are way shorter. You're going to catch those maybe in the next couple days, maybe next week. Stay tuned. Anyway, going back, because I'm just blabbling at this point. Davante Adams, ball. Don't like the Raiders, but I like him. He should be good this year no matter where the quarterback situation is. He proved that last year. Number 6 in my top 10, Joe Mixon. Now, Joe Mixon, he had some good games. He had some bad games. He was hurt quite a bit, which takes him down, right? Whatever. But he was safe. I wrote that down right here. When he was playing, he was safe to get a good 15-ish points. He finished this year running back 10. Still a good year. I had him as running back 4. So it wasn't terrible considering the injuries. I honestly don't know right now. I'm not gonna blabble and try to convince you something about him. Just know that he's a safe guy, and that come time when I make my running back list for next season, I will probably say he's a safe guy. Whatever. Next, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, my number 1, 2, 3, my number 4 receiver, also on the Bengals. That's a little weird. Number 4 running back, number 4 receiver. He had a good year. He had an okay year. He's getting left in the dust by Justin Jefferson, but he caught 87 catches, 1,046 yards, 9 touchdowns. Not bad. He's not getting the volume that you'd like. That's a little hard with T. Higgins getting 74 catches for 1,029 yards and a little bit less touchdowns. They're basically had the same season. I'm big up on. I think last year my wide receiver rankings were him at 4, T. Higgins at 15. I'm probably going to have them closer to each other. T. Higgins will probably be at 11, and he'll be at 8, because they're pretty similar. He gets more volume, but not a lot, and volume is big, and so, especially in PPR when you get a catch per reception, point per reception, if you didn't understand my wave right there. He's going to be important to have. They're both going to be, I wrote right here that while there is sophomore slump factors, he didn't really sophomore slump, but he's just he wasn't special. And I don't think he's going to be special next year. I think we'll see about the same season that we did this year, which is not it's not a Tyreek Hill level of season, but it's a good season. Next guy, number 9. Wow, we flew through these last couple. Number 9 on my fantasy list, Derrick Henry. Now, this guy is a dog. He had a foot injury 2 years ago, and I wrote that down right here. No injury Henry is a top 4 running back. And, there you go. He got top 4 last year. Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs at number 3, and Derrick Henry at number 4. Whoops. I missed Josh Jacobs completely. Didn't even write him down in my top 16 running backs. Let me see. Let me take a quick detour real quick. See if I wrote him down on a bust or a sleep. I didn't even write him as a bust or a sleeper, so that's undervalued. I didn't even look at him. He had a great season. Ignoring him, Derrick Henry came at number 4, and I have Derrick Henry high up the list again. He just seems like just a consistent. He's going to lay down it's just, I don't see him slowing down. He's a huge guy who takes a ton of hits, and he just keeps going. And that's it. Derrick Henry is the Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? That the whole crowd ooh and ahs at. And I think you have a right to ooh and ah at this guy. Not quite as much as Austin Eckler this upcoming season, but he's going to get the rock. Feed him the rock, dude. Give me the rock. Sorry. Dalvin Cook at number 10. This is the final guy on my top 10 list before we go into quarterbacks. As I'm saying, 15 minutes in, this is going to be a long-ass episode, guys. Whoops. Dalvin Cook at number 10. I said after these final two guys, the running backs plummet in risks or other factors, so while injuries are a concern, they're nothing to worry about. Whoops. They were something to worry about, I think. Where is he at? He didn't have a... Did he have a good... Oh, he had an okay season. He finished right behind Joe Mixon. Did he... Dude, I don't even know. I'm uneducated. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm like my grandpa when it comes to politics. I'm uneducated. Dalvin Cook had an okay season. I think he dealt with injuries, I'm pretty sure. Going to a new team. Don't really have a lot to say about him, except that he's a consistent runner and he's downhill. But I think he's past his peak. I don't think you should draft him any higher than what you have in the past. So look at where he's been drafted in the past. If you're going to do this research, if you like him, if not, or if you drafted him last year, draft him round 3, don't draft him above round 3 this year. He's not going to be better. You know, he's past his prime. That's my top 10. My top 10 was damn good. Let me tell you what right now. I had guys basically near the top. Every single guy in my top 10, every single guy in my top 10 finished at least top 10 in their position, if not number 1, number 2, number 3, except for Jonathan Taylor, who had an injury. Injuries happen, whatever. That was a good top 10 list. I'm proud of myself. Now we're going on to quarterbacks. And quarterbacks, where's my, remember how I used to play sound? If you're an old one on the podcast, if you're a true podcaster, you'll remember how I used to play sound bites when stuff would happen. Here it is. Trombone, yep. So, tight end, or not tight end, whoops. Top 10 list, great, wonderful. Quarterbacks list. Dude, look at I make myself laugh at that one. Quarterbacks list was about how that. Let's play it again. Play it one more time. Yeah, that's quarterbacks for you. It started off good. It got bad. Let's read them off right now. I'm not going to spend as much time because I didn't do as good, so why talk about it as much? The top was bad too. Never mind. Number 1 was Josh Allen. Guy's a baller. Played well. I don't know why I had a number 1. I can't have a number 1 anymore. I can't have anybody except... Yeah, this is crazy. I'm looking at this right now. This is insane. Patrick Mahomes. I can't have anybody but Patrick Mahomes at number 1 next season. No doubt, no chance. I can have sleeper guys. I can have guys that are going to be good. Patrick Mahomes finished a good 20 points ahead of Josh Allen, which was close. But people are writing him off, and he's a baller. It might be close. I have to have Patrick Mahomes. He's so consistent. He always scores. The number 3 guy on the list, who Patrick Mahomes finished a good 30 points ahead, was Jalen Hurts, who had 13 rushing touchdowns. And Patrick Mahomes still beat him with 4 rushing touchdowns. And those are not quarterback touchdowns. Those are running back point touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes was that good that he can outscore guys getting 13 touchdowns on the ground because he's a good quarterback. I don't hate the Chiefs as much as I hate the Raiders, you know? It's not the diet anymore. It's more of just like a single veggie. The Chiefs are a single veggie to a fat kid for me. But Patrick Mahomes, again, I can't hate on good players playing well. And I like him this year. And when if the Chiefs, I'm going to put an if there. If the Chiefs end up beating the Broncos this year, at least I'll have Patrick Mahomes to look for in my fantasy team as a bright spot. Okay? But they're not going to beat him. I'm shouting out to every Chiefs fan who listens to this podcast. I can't even think of one off the top of my head who I know listens to this. But if you do, be warned. The Broncos are coming. The Broncos are coming as fast as a horse runs. And they will not stop until they take down the mountain of the Chiefs. I'm going to say that right now. I could be the Broncos hype man because of how much I love them. The Broncos are coming. Patrick Mahomes, don't be worried. Patrick Mahomes, you're still going to ball. I believe in you. But watch out, Chief fans. Because I'm coming too. If I see you in school, I'm throwing hands. Let me tell you what. I'm not threatening you, but I am. Let's go. Number 2 on the quarterbacks list. I got Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes out of the way. Ballers. Number 2, I skipped over him because he was Justin Herbie. Justin Herbie, what are you doing? Justin Herbie, you played shit. Justin Herbie, you got hurt. You balled. You were the number 12 quarterback. Justin Herbie, I believed. Justin Herbert's more of a kind of an on the field type of guy, not as much as an off the field. All football is played on the field. You don't want to be an off the field type of guy because it only ends in trouble. What I'm saying is he's more of a football guy than a fantasy guy. He's not flashy, doesn't score a lot, but leads his team. Now, the Chargers are just booty. Anyway, shout out Chargers fans. Oh, wait, there is none. Whoops. But Justin Herbert's a good quarterback for you guys. It's just he's not a fantasy quarterback, so, that's how the cookie crumbles, as I've said before. It's tough. I missed out on that one. I'm not going to have him that ranked higher. How did I have him above Patrick Mahomes? That's just so sad. That's just so sad. Like, whatever. There's going to be a bounce back. I think he'll finish top 8. Maybe, yeah, I think he'll finish top 8 quarterbacks next year. He's not finished above Patrick Mahomes. That was stupid. Who else he's not finishing in front of is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was my number 4 quarterback. He did okay. He didn't do great. He had some injuries, but coming out with a stronger Ravens team and a new contract this year, he'll be good. On to number 5. Now, this is where I wrote this down right here. Outside the top 4, this list can get kind of crazy. Now, inside my top 4 was kind of crazy. But at number 5 was Tom Brady, who had a bad year. He had an Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson type of year. Those 3 guys, veterans who've always been good, had bad years. Russell Wilson I had at number 7. Aaron Rodgers I had at number 11 quarterbacks. I'm going to talk about them all right now. They all just didn't work. Whether it was their coaches, whether it was their receiving core, whether it was just their old age, I don't know. Tom Brady took the high road and retired. Russell Wilson is a do-or-die year, and Aaron Rodgers got a max-out contract from the desperate Jets, who haven't won since Joe Namath in the '60s, and just want to be. They just want to be recognized. I mean, like, general trivia. Do you know how many New York teams are in the NFL? Yeah, there's 1, because the New York Giants and the New York Jets play in New Jersey. Now, what is weird is that a lot of people probably said 1. Why? Because they thought the Giants played there. It's actually the Bills play in Buffalo, New York. Now, that's not because the Bills are irrelevant. They just didn't know they played in New York. But the reason why people say 1, the New York Giants, is because the Jets are irrelevant. Nobody even knows who they are. They're known for being bad. And now they just picked up Aaron Rodgers, who is past his prime, had a terrible year, could be back but could be not. And they bet the whole farm on him. At least when the Broncos bet the whole farm on Russell Wilson, he wasn't coming off a bad season. Aaron Rodgers had one of the worst seasons of his career. I mean, are you kidding me? He had nagging injuries. He barely even missed a game. He just played shit. Whatever. Sorry, Jets fans, if I went off on you, but he's not going to be good this year. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, who's gone, but all these guys are just old busts who I rated too high, and I saw consistency over skill, and that's on me. No more am I ever going to have somebody who is consistently good, like Tom Brady, over a guy like Jalen Hurts. This guy's a dog. Jalen Hurts was my number 6. He should have been my number 2. Should have been, because that's what he finished in the season last year. Just kidding. He finished number 3 behind Josh Allen. I don't give myself enough credit for putting Josh Allen 1. That wasn't bad. Jalen Hurts finished 3. Now, his 13 touchdowns on the ground, as I've said, was that sick. And what I've said about wide receivers, how you can't always count on their touchdowns, right? It's kind of the same, you would think, for the quarterbacks, ground touchdowns. It's not throwing. You can count on Jalen Hurts. If the Eagles get within the 10-yard line, they just pound the rock. They say, Jalen, run down the middle behind that big guy's butt and see what happens. And he does it 4 times in a row, and they score. It's a fact. He's going to do that every time. They're going to score. He's got a bigger body than Lamar Jackson, another running quarterback. Jalen's a dog. Simple as that. There's a reason why I had him above some guys. Reason why I had him above Russell Wilson. Shit. Reason why I had him above Matthew Stafford. Shit. I don't even want to talk about this guy. He kind of got screwed by Cooper Kupp, and then he also dealt with some injuries on his own. He had an okay year. Where did he finish? He didn't even play well. No, he played terrible. He played terrible. Let's just move on. He played terrible. He might be good this year. If you have Cooper Kupp on your roster as a quarterback, you have a chance to do well. But I don't think he's going to be within top 10 or even he's a borderline top 12 quarterback. He's a backup quarterback. And that's how I drafted in my leagues. You'll see in the next episode, wink, wink, or in like 2 episodes now that I made this a 2-parter. You'll see how much of a dog I was at drafting. I got like him and Lamar, who both didn't do amazing, but I'm not like selling myself on a mid quarterback. I'm picking up the big guys. Number 9 on my list. Number 9 on my list was Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow finished number 4 in the fantasy season with 35 touchdowns. He did good. After him, it kind of gets weird. After him, it goes Geno Smith, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff. What a weird top 10 of quarterbacks. That is whack. Those guys are. Nobody saw any of that coming. This is not my fault. This is not my fault. No one saw any of that coming. No, there was hype, but there was a lot of uncertainty. Nobody saw Daniel Jones or old man Kirk Cousins or Flo, you already know, Trevor Lawrence. Nobody saw that happening. That's not my fault. What I did not see happening, I don't know if other people saw this. Probably not, because I don't know, coming off a Super Bowl win, you don't see this coming. Matthew Stafford had a bad year. I think we'll move on, but I mean, off a Super Bowl win, Matty, come on, you can do better than that. bruh. You got lit up by you got beat by Jared Goff, who came in as like your secondhand little brother in the Detroit Lions and led them to a good season. Do better, Matthew Stafford. Do better. Joe Burrow. Oh, I was supposed to be talking about. Whoops. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is just sick. Joe Burrow is cool, calm, and collected. He's a guy. He's gonna be a guy. He's gonna be a top 5 quarterback for me next year. Dak Prescott. Ugh. Cowboys. Ugh. Am I right? Ugh. Nobody likes the Cowboys. Nobody likes Dak Prescott. Nobody likes America's team, even though everybody likes America. Nobody likes their head coach. Nobody likes their owner, Mr. Like, I mean, he should be dead. Like, you look at him and he's like, how is this guy even breathing still? He looks like he's 135. Suck my, whatever. Finish that sentence. You already know. Suck it, Cowboys. I don't like you. And I don't like how Dak Prescott plays, how he throws the rock around like he can just give it away, because he does. Because he does give it away to that team. Picks are killer. If you throw a pick, it's half of how many touchdowns you score. If you have a game and you throw 4 touchdowns, that's a sick game at 2 picks. It's basically like you only threw 2 touchdowns in your average. And Dak Prescott did that, but he didn't throw 4 touchdowns. He just threw 2 picks and 1 touchdown. Now, I don't want to make enemies with every Cowboy fan that listens to this. You guys are not terrible, but I just don't like you. But you can't ignore the facts that he played bad. Dak Prescott played bad. There were your own fans asking if he was the answer. I'm going to hate on your owner all I want, but I'm not going to hate on your team just because I want to. You guys didn't play well, and neither did the Broncos. You can come right back at me. Whatever. Dak Prescott's not that guy. I don't believe in him anymore. I already talked about Aaron Rodgers in my number 11. Don't really believe in him anymore either. Kyler Murray, what did he even do? I'm pretty sure he played mid. He was behind Russell Wilson. Dude, get him out of my sights. What did he do? Threw for 4. Am I saying this right? 14. Okay, well, he was hurt, so I guess it's not his fault. He only threw for 14 touchdown passes. That's so bad. Yeah. I mean, injuries happen. Whatever. I'm not going to shame him for that. It's all right. All right, that's our whole quarterbacks list. I had a lot of hate to spew. Sorry if you guys didn't like that. I just spew hate sometimes. I have anger, pent up anger inside, and I just let it out on the players. I'm sorry. We're going to go to the sleepers and busts real quick just to see what I got. My sleepers were Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, and Derek Carr. Wow, dude, what a good list of sleepers. My God, that's like a 12-hour nap. That's how good a sleep that was. Holy crap. Jalen Hurts balled. Tua Tagovailoa balled. Derek Carr. Well, Derek Carr didn't play amazing. But Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, those are real sleepers, and those are guys that have now broken into the top 10, had offensive additions, had a revamped offensive lines, had average draft positions that were good. I mean, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, yeah, they were good. I drafted these guys in my leagues. You'll see that next time we watch, or next time I record a podcast, I drafted these guys because their draft position and value was so good. And that's something you really need to look for in drafts is good value. You can get a lot done with good value. Tua Tagovailoa especially. I mean, he was getting drafted in the 13th round and became a top, 10? Did he? Well, he dealt with injuries, but he still played. He was right behind Lamar Jackson, even dealing with injuries. That's good. That's really good. 25 touchdown throws. As a sleeper, as a guy that was not even on some top 16s, right? A guy that's like the bottom of the barrel quarterbacks, and he goes up there. Good pick by me. Don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm gonna. Bust / overrate. Oh my God. I put Aaron Rodgers as a bust. Yes. I'm so good. Deshaun Watson, obviously a bust / overweighted because he had all those sexual assault allegations, which is just messed. He deserves to be bust / overrated. Trey Lance got injured. He was a bust because he got injured. And my bust / overrated list was almost as good. We have an old man out of his prime, a guy who just screwed up his life by being an absolute weirdo, and Deshaun Watson. I mean, he could be good this year, but whatever. He had a bad season. He only played, I think he went till week 11. I saw this reel on Instagram, a little timeout, about how they were talking about how the NFL loves money. If you have that many allegations, it doesn't matter if you're proved, he didn't get proved guilty before the NFL, guilty or unguilty, before the NFL gave him a sentence, which is weird. Now, it's odd that there were so many allegations, and I think some of it was the media blowing it up, but I do think there's a possibility that he stepped over a line somewhere in there with all his massages. How many massages does a person need? But anyway, I saw a thing he should have got a full year suspension for doing that. He got an 11-week. The first week is back is against the Texans. I mean, NFL, tell me you're a greedy money hog without telling me you're a greedy money hog. That's embarrassing. whatever. Deshaun Watson, I don't really want to talk about him anymore because it's just creepy. But he was a bust. And then Trey Lance. Injuries, bust. That's a great list. We're actually going to end the quarterbacks on a high note there. We're not even going to look at any other stuff. We're going to go right on to running backs, and then we're going to finish this episode. Dude, this is a long-ass episode. Imagine if I would have done this in one episode. Had like an 80-minute episode. No, thank you. We're just going to go right to running backs. Running backs, the premier fantasy position, as I wrote down on the top of the list. Eesh, that's cringe. Yep, a lot of these guys are going to be in the top 10. In fact, the top 6 are all in the top 10. I've already talked about Jonathan Taylor, injury bust. Christian McCaffrey, nailed it. Austin Eckler, nailed it even more. Joe Mixon, kind of fell off. Derrick Henry, I should have had him higher up. And Dalvin Cook, mid-season for how good he is. That's the top 6 already done. Wow, what a record-setting pace. Number 7, Najee Harris. Najee Harris, his volume, let me look at his carries real quick, because that's what it comes down to. He is all about volume and how much he gets the ball. Oh, this sheet doesn't have carries on it. Well, he had a good amount of yards, 1,000 yards, so he must have gotten a lot of carries. Why does it not say his carries? It really should on here. He doesn't catch the ball a lot out of the backfield, but he catches it, whatever. It doesn't catch the ball a ton. He catches the ball a little bit. He had a good season. He didn't have as good of a season as I thought he would, because I thought the value would be more. But honestly, after those top 6, it gets weird. Like, the list, nobody saw Josh Jacobs coming. Nobody saw Ramondre Stevenson coming. There's guys that are like way, way down. Nobody saw Jamal Williams coming. That was insane. Freaking 17 touchdowns, and he finished underneath like Leonard Fournette in terms of fantasy points because he only had 12 catches. That's how important PPR is, because 17 touchdowns, 17 times 6 is, let me do some quick math because I'm a beast. 102, yeah. If you don't know anything about me, I'm kind of a nerd with math. I'm in high math, and I kind of like math. So anyway, did some quick math right there. That's 102. 102 points off just touchdowns. Now 12, right? That's 114 off of your catches, right? PPR catches and touchdowns. Now let's look at the guy in front of him, Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette had 3 touchdowns, which is 18 points, but he had 73 catches. Leonard Fournette had way less yards, but he had way more catches for way more yards, right? So yards kind of balance out. 73 times or plus 18 is 91. A guy who scored 17 touchdowns barely outscored a guy who scored 3 touchdowns if you add in the catches. That's how important catching is. Man, I thought Jamal Williams was better at catching the rock. That's actually disappointing. That's why guys like Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler play so well, because Austin Eckler had 107 catches. That's insane. Guys like Josh Jacobs, who had 53, Austin Eckler is basically like a glorified receiver at this point. Little man is just trucking. He didn't even have 1,000 yards rushing, but he's just so good receiving, and he catches the ball so many times, and he does score a lot, and that's how important it is. So I'm looking at guys like Najee Harris, and there's no wonder he fell down. I'm looking at Alvin Kamara, and there's no wonder he fell down because he didn't catch his ball as much as he should. Number 9, Aaron Jones. Now, this guy went up a lot because he caught the ball quite a bit. 59 catches. The weird thing about Aaron Jones, he only scored 2 touchdowns on the ground last year. Now, this is a problem. This is a problem because with Aaron Rodgers gone, their whole offense is kind of just in shambles of like what to do. I think their offense will be better with Aaron Rodgers gone, but it's weird because they're looking around saying, what do we do? We've never been here before. What do we do? It's like they're speaking a foreign language in Green Bay right now without Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre at quarterback. It's been like 30 years since neither of those guys was at quarterback. So they have this new kid, and they're probably going to run the ball a lot. The problem is they have the quad father over there. What's his name? I cannot think of his name. A.J. Dillon, that's his name. Yeah, A.J. Dillon, the quad father. Kind of weird, but his quads are probably like as wide as my whole body. Anyway, he's a tank, and he gets a lot of the carries at the goal line, which limits Aaron Jones' chance at short yardage touchdowns, which is super important. I see A.J. Dillon on the ground, a little bit lower on the list. He had 7 touchdowns. He had 0 touchdowns in the air, but 7 on the ground because he's big and he gets the ball a lot. That's going to be a problem with Aaron Jones again, and that's going to probably hold him around the number 10 running back margin because he's never going to get the carries at the goal line, and that's disappointing. Now, injuries aside, right, there could be an injury, but probably not. My number 10 on my list is Leonard Fournette. Just under Aaron Jones a couple places. I've already talked about him, how he just didn't freaking score touchdowns, but he caught the ball a lot, and he was a good thing. Now, Leonard Fournette, I'm not as high on this next year. The problem is, I don't know who they're going to have at quarterback but he's definitely not going to check the ball down as much as Brady. I mean, honestly, Tom Brady's a bit of a wimp when it comes to throwing the ball. Like, yeah, he's one of the greatest passers in NFL history, but ignoring that, he's kind of a wimp. All he does is throw like 2-yard passes and they get first downs. Whatever. It works. He wins Super Bowls. I'll give it to him. I don't like him because he wins Super Bowls and he used to be the Broncos a lot. But he checks the ball down a lot to their running backs, and that's a lot of points. Now that he's gone, I'm not so sure Leonard Fournette's going to get all those catches. And as I explained before, that's how he gets so many points, is because he gets so many catches. That's how he beats guys like Jamal Williams, who score a lot of touchdowns because he gets catches. Without Brady, I don't know. We'll see. Next guy on the list, James Conner. Now, this is just bad on me. It was dumb to think that he would repeat. He had an insane amount of touchdowns 2 years ago. It was dumb of me to think on a bad team that he would repeat that. He had 7 touchdowns, 1 touchdown in the air, and 300 receiving yards. He had a good season, but like I overrated him. He shouldn't be that ranked that high. It's dumb to assume that a guy on that bad of a team is going to have a repeating touchdown success. It's classic mistake by Mikey. Just kidding. I don't do that. Yeah, but I did it this time, and you know what? I'll admit to it. James Conner was a bit of a bust pick. So is DeAndre Swift, the next guy. Hey, wait. It gets better, guys. Wait up. We're going to get to the end of the lollipop. I honestly think the best part of the lollipop is chewing on the stick because you look like a gangster with a little lollipop stick in your mouth walking around. Everybody's like, ooh, he just ate a lollipop. But it just feels cool, you know what I mean? Anyway, we're going to get the lollipop stick in a second. First, we have to get through DeAndre Swift. We had a bad season. His carries were good, but his yards and his touchdowns and everything else was not. His injuries was not. He got chances when he could, but he got outscored by a guy who scored 17. I mean, that's just insane. He's going to the Eagles. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. He's definitely going to do better than his last year. He'll get the carries he did, and I hope he can avoid the injuries because maybe he'll consistently get carries, especially goal. Oh, well, never mind. Shoot, I was just talking on my ass. Jalen Hurts is there. Jalen Hurts is getting a lot of goal line tears. Honestly, my DeAndre Swift hype train is over. I think he could peak around the 10 mark, maybe, if he just gets the ball a ton, but he's not going to score goal line catches. I think he could peak at Aaron Jones level because he's not going to score goal line touchdowns. But that's it. There's no way that he goes beyond that because of his quarterback. So he'll do better. I think he'll do better than last year. He did not do well last year. But is he going to be the all-star that he was a couple of years ago and that I was so high on? No. Okay, the lollipop stick, we're here. Saquon Barkley, number 13. Somewhat of a CMC situation I had written down. It's injuries. And man, did he prove himself. The number 5 running back, he proved that old Saquon Barkley is still there. Old dogs can go back to their young waves and be a dog. Be a DAWG, not a DOG. And he was a DAWG last year. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of my personal friend, Saquon Barkley. I think he's going to have repeated success. It all comes down to injuries with him. But now you at least know that if he's not injured, he's going to ball. Same with Christian McCaffrey. You know that Saquon Barkley will be there with Christian. All right, I see you. Number 14, Javonte Williams. God dang it. Maybe the most upside without any. I literally wrote down without injury risks. Dang it, Javonte Williams. You got hurt in the Broncos season. Like literally just broke like a piece of pottery. Dang it. It's all right, whatever. Injuries happen. I think he'll have a bounce back year. I don't have much else to say about him. Number 15, Cam Akers. There's another injury bug. Although this guy, all he does is get injured. So the Cam Akers hype train is over. If Javonte Williams gets hurt next year again, running backs get hurt, and it sucks. And it kind of ruins the hype. But Cam Akers has been hurt over and over that he's just, stay away from him. Finally, Nick Chubb. I had Nick Chubb so low down for some reason. He lacks a booming upside. He's right behind Saquon Barkley. He just got the ball so much. It's all about volume with him. I don't know on the top of my head about the Browns running back situation because honestly, the Browns are on the Jets level of irrelevant. Sorry, not sorry. They're like on the, they're not there, you know. They're like a game show host that you have no idea, you know. They're like, you know Steve Harvey, right? They're like that other bald guy who looks just like Steve Harvey but is younger and has that other game show. And you're just like, what? Who are you? It's that same vibe. It's the same vibe with the Browns, so I don't keep up on the Browns news. But Nick Chubb, I should keep up on because he had a good year. I'm not going to underrate him again because the more carries he gets, the more yards he gets, the more points he gets. He gets consistent yards, he gets consistent points. He's a good baller to have. Whew, that's the whole list. Oh, thank God. Whew. I have a couple sleepers and busts to look at real quick, and then we're going to finish this episode at about 45 minutes. Holy crap, did I talk a lot. Sleepers. I'm gonna motor right through. No more jokes, no more blabbing. I'm done. I'm going to just drop my info, drop my expertise, and be out of here. Sleepers that's undervalued. Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne did he? Oh, I think he dealt with some injuries. Did he? Shoot, I don't even know. No, he actually played well. He had 1,000 yards on the ground. Jacksonville's offense is changing. I think you expect the exact same from him next year. I think he'd be good, around the 15 running back mark in terms of how much he gets the ball, how much he is able to run the ball behind that offense that keeps moving forward. As long as that Jaguars offense and Trevor Lawrence doesn't go backwards, I think Travis Etienne won't go backwards either. That's good. Another sleeper, Saquon Barkley. Yeah. What you like? You like me now? Bam. He was a sleeper. Didn't get hurt, and now he's a baller. My final sleeper. This is a guy that ended up the season around the number 10 running back mark, and I knew it. God, this is one of my most proud picks. Tony Pollard. With Ezekiel Elliott on the decline, I literally wrote that down. He's worth a chance, I wrote down. Oh, I love him. I drafted him in, I believe, 2 or 3 of my leagues because I knew that I could pick him in the late rounds. And he played amazing. With Zeke gone now, I am so high on this guy. He doesn't even put up insane stats, but I just feel like the sky is the limit for him in terms of how he runs downhill. I do believe that he can be a top 5 running back next year. Now, am I going to have him above Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley, the top 5 of last year? No. I'm going to have him around, then 8, 9, 10. But I believe he can break into that top 5. I do. Because he's sick. I hate on the Cowboys a lot, but I like this guy. As much as I hate on the Cowboy fans, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I have no right to hate because the Broncos suck. Tony Pollard is really good. I'm happy for you guys, okay? Look at some busts that's overvalued. My first bust / overvalue was Ezekiel Elliott. Now he's off the Cowboys. So, tell me how that went. Good call by me. My number 2 was David Montgomery. David Montgomery had an okay year. Only had 800 yards on the ground. He's the same guy, big guy, not a lot of boost, not a lot of, pizzazz. Just gets volume and does well. And he didn't get the volume, so he didn't do well. I'm not sure what it's going to look like next year. The fact that they have Justin Fields, who gets so many rushing touchdowns, he's going to be kind of an overvalued guy again next year, or just kind of a forgotten guy, I think, unfortunately. The final guy was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Is there more of a bust than that? This guy has been a bust since day one. This is a rare Chiefs L. As much as the Chiefs don't take L's. They got Isaiah Pacheco, who I haven't even talked about, who played really well in the last weeks of the season. He runs like he's freaking on fire. He runs like he's run from a madman, or he is a madman. He runs insane. Anyway, Clyde Edwards-Helaire does not have that. He got passed up. He's long gone. Do not draft him next year. Draft Isaiah Pacheco. Be happy with your Patrick Mahomes Isaiah Pacheco combo. Stay away from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And that's the whole list. I got a lot of stuff right, guys. I can't lie. I feel like I'm kind of an expert. I can't lie. I feel like I deserve more than 70 followers on Instagram. Can't lie. You know what? Follow the Fantasy Avenue podcast on Instagram. Download the episodes. Listen to the episodes. I appreciate it. Trying to maybe get some ads. Oh my God, voice crack. Ad agencies. I'm still 16 years old. I'm a kid. It's good to sponsor me. You can hear it by the voice crack. I'm still a kid. It is a good thing to sponsor kids. A good humanitarian act. Really helps me, helps you, okay? I'm making my little ad pitch right here on my podcast. But I am hoping to get some ad money. And a big way I do that is by getting listens. So listen to the podcast, download the podcast, check out the Instagram. Thank you guys so much for stopping by to a 45-minute episode. If anybody's listening to this right now, my little spiel, thank you and peace.